Hey everybody, Mags here. We are going to review some of the hints and tips that we've been given this year on the Dynasty Hotseat. If you are new here, do me a favor, can you like, comment, share on this video for me, please, like you can see here. And then also, if you're new here, why not hit that subscribe button too? It really helps out. Right, on to the hints and tips.
Yeah, with the tips, I want to keep it pretty simple, make it sort of the groundwork, the cornerstones for any league, really. So the first one, it's one that's come up a few times, but it's utilizing the tiers approach. For people that don't know what tiers are, it's grouping players of a similar value in your rankings into groups so that you can understand sort of values within your drafts, your startups, your rookie drafts. It helps you easily navigate these, but this is something that you can use in any setting. So tiers can be used in your startup, they can be used in season rankings, in your off-season rankings, and in rookie drafts. And what it helps you do is it helps you find players in the same tier who you can pivot to and acquire extra assets on top. For example, let's say you've got Javonte Williams and Najee Harris in the same tier. Most people have Najee above Javonte, but let's say you prefer Javonte in your rankings. What you can do is easily see these are in your same tiers. You can look at a website like Keep Trade Cut where Najee is going ahead, and you can go to that Najee owner and look to get a little bit extra on top. Sorry, you can go to the Javonte owner, look to get a little bit on top and move from Najee downwards while acquiring maybe an extra second or something like that. So it's just a really simple way of preventing overpays in existing trades by grouping guys, but also it stops you from reaching in players in your startups and your rookie drafts as well.
Yeah, I really like that. That's just kind of, taking two players, that's kind of 6.5 a dozen for you, and just getting, well, I'll take this guy plus, you may as well do that. If you're similar on them anyway, see if you can get just a little cherry on top. So I really, really like that as your first tip.
Thank you. What a legend. End the show.
Done. Thanks for listening. Stay lit.
So yeah, my second tip, it's again another simple one. It's understanding the trade cycle. And what I mean by the trade cycle is in season, player values are high and draft picks are low. And then the flip in the off season, player values are low and draft values are high. Again, it's allowing you to maximize value. You're going to be able to get the best deals at the cheapest price. And what understanding the cycle does for you is it makes it easier for you to plan and execute the various dynasty strategies, whether you're rebuilding, retooling, or contending. An example I've got of understanding the trade cycle is, let's say you're a team that's a QB away. You've just missed out on the championship this year. You've got a late first, and you're thinking, yeah, these rookie QBs are not really going to give me that comfort, that certainty, I guess, that they're going to perform year one. You'd look to send your late first for maybe a guy like Kirk Cousins. What you can do is you can look at your league mates teams as well, and you can work out where they are in the cycle. Or you could even chat to them if you've got to be careful if you chat to them, because you don't want to be offensive and say, I can see you rebuilding. And they're like, no, I'm not. So be careful with that. But it's just looking around the teams in your league, you can get a good gauge of where that team is, what they might be looking for, and understanding that trade cycle just helps you get the right deal at the right time. And it avoids you being stuck in that mid-table irrelevance in your leagues, because if you're making moves at the wrong time and you end up in the middle, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to be either first or last.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice, especially that little bit at the end. Like you're either, you have to be either contending and be ready to win, or they just tear the whole thing down and start again. There's no point sort of wallowing in the middle there. And, I think that's really interesting as well, how, an asset like a pick can sit and you don't do anything with it. It's not like it's a player that has form and goes up and down, but you're right, the value fluctuates so much depending on what time of year it is. So you're paying keen attention to the values that as it, sell it at its peak and buy it at its trough. That is, those little things are just enough to kind of get you over the edge to win a championship.
Indeed. And we'll come on to my final tip. It's all to do with age inflation and discounts. So it's the concept that age is overrated in my eyes, where it results in veterans being undervalued and rookies being overvalued, or younger players being overvalued. because what you tend to find is most dynasty players are age obsessed, where anyone over the age of 25 is considered done. And this philosophy, what it leads to is plenty of quality veteran pivots during your startups in season and also in your rookie drafts. Me personally, I'm playing on 2-year windows, whereas a lot of people play on 3-4-year windows. And the reason I do that is dynasty leagues can fold pretty quick. Yeah. You could be playing for year 4, year 3, year 4. I've been in leagues where it's done after one season, it's done after a couple of years. So you've wasted your money there. If you're thinking about money, you're wasting your money. If you're thinking about ships, you've not won a ship, you've not had the chance. I think personally, longer term builds are better in home leagues or leagues where you know a lot of the people, you know they're going to stick around for a while. But yeah, I just think veterans are an easy way to add certainty to your roster to reduce the risk by acquiring proven vets over the sexy rookie dart throws or the younger players that are seen as elite, but maybe not. And I think an example is probably someone like Devontae Smith, who I know you've mentioned on previous show, you like him. But if I'm going for a ship this season, Devontae Smith, if I can pivot from him to say Brandon Cooks and a late first or an early second, I'm very happy with that. I'd be confident that Cooks will outproduce Devontae Smith this one season. And it actually ties in really nice with the first 2 tips about not being afraid of an aging veteran, because if you're using tip 1, the tiers, tip 2, the trade cycle, you'll be able to pivot before it's completely too late to get out. And the one player that sort of makes me think of this perfectly is Mike Evans last season. He's an older guy, but let's say you thought he was a contender and you fell away a bit, you were still able to trade him for a late first, get out from there. So I'm all about trying to win in those 2 years windows as such. Plus, that makes sense because I'm 34 years old. It's all about winning fantasy titles. It's not about looking young and sexy anymore. It's about actually giving a bit of love for the older guys and bringing home those titles.
Oh, you don't look a day of your 34 years, mate. You're looking great.
Good
but no, I think I think they're really, really good advice. And you get sometimes like comments on, maybe this isn't like the best example, like someone, I really like a Michael Pittman Jr. and you hear like, wow, he's this big, like sort of dominant receiver. It's like he could maybe become Mike Evans one day. It's like, well, why don't you just take Mike Evans then? If he's what you're wanting Michael Pittman to become, there's a guy there who's already that good. And if you're playing in your 2-year windows, like you're saying, then you could just take Mike Evans where you know he's going to be that good consistently. Whereas Michael Pittman, you're just hoping he's going to be that good.
Exactly. You've absolutely nailed it there, Max. I think, and it's every position as well. Like QB, I know when Rich Coogan was on, one of his tips was QB age is one of the most overvalued things in Dynasty. Tight ends it's a bit of a flip with the tight ends actually, where people get a bit crazy for a really young breakout. It's every position it applies to. So just give a bit of love to the older guys.
Yeah, I love it. Nice. Well, that's perfect. What a way to round off your hints and tips in segment number 1. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Remember, like this video, leave a comment if you want, and subscribe to the channel. These videos are going to be coming thick and fast, so you don't want to miss anything. So that's it for today. In the meantime, keep yourselves, keep your teams lit. We'll see you next time.